Gatekeeping is a process that information is filtered for distribution, whether it's for broadcasting, publication, or any other form of communication, such as social media.
This is what makes online news so valuable because a lot of local newspapers will have their target audience be what they believe the area, maybe collectively, or what the majority might want to hear. Whereas online news, you have all different opinions from all different locations right in one device.
Gatekeepers filter our information, determining what is published and broadcasted. In the United States, we're divided between red states and blue states, which is also known as Republican and Democratic states. With all of this, these states also have filter bubbles, which are present. They determine what these states see on their platforms, which include advertisements and information that run through social media and Google.
Though there is a polarization between red and blue states, they actually have a lot more common ground than some people think, as in moderates or overlapping beliefs.
I think we all know that different states have different sets of cultures and different sets of values. For example, Kansas isn't the same culturally as Maine, and Oregon doesn't have the same set of values and isn't the same culturally as New Hampshire or South Carolina. So, like, just by living in these separate states, it completely dictates the way news is presented to you and discussed around you.
The CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, actually put a ban on political advertisements on their platform because you're only getting half of the story, and he felt it was unfair.
For example, say you live in New York and your cousin lives in Louisiana. You guys can see the same exact ad and come out on completely different sides of the issue.
This can also play a huge role in the election. If only half of the story is being told to you and pushed in your face, then you're gonna more likely lean on one side towards the other if you didn't previously have a stance on the election.
And yes, a lot of it has to do with human nature because naturally we're humans. But another chunk of it has to do with the environment that you're living in. So because that's really what the states are. They're like 50 little filter bubbles.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows that all states interpret the news differently.
And some filter bubbles are stronger than others, like the South, because those beliefs have been cultivated and shaped and formed over literally centuries. And it's important to remember that this also translates to what types of ads you will see. So media gatekeepers will run an ad knowing the demographics that live in those states and the values that are important to those states.
The main issue with these bubbles is that we're only able to opt out of them. We cannot give consent to them. So with that being said, they are going to be put in your face. Whether you like it or not, you can only opt out of them. But if you don't opt out of them, they're going to continuously be put on these platforms based on the area that you live or the previous things that you have clicked on or previously searches that are in your search browser.
I could be living in one state and a friend of mine could be living in another, and when it comes to the news, we could come out on the same story, but we would definitely get different. We would get different sides of what the problem is. That has a lot to do with filter bubbles.
Finally, these bubbles can cause a cognitive bias. They impact the capability to think clearly.
Filter bubbles really do affect the news.
With these biases, if it's continuously being put in your face, then, like I said, you're going to lean more towards one side, and you're going to research more about that. So with these filter bubbles being present, it's causing a huge issue with political campaigns.
Gatekeeping occurs in all forms and levels of the media structure. It begins with a reporter deciding which sources to include in their stories, to an editor deciding which stories are being published and which are being covered. A research conducted by outlet Zavello discovered that there was no political news stories that appeared in both sides of the political spectrum. They concluded that this was a contributing reason for the ideological divide that we are experiencing in the United States and in different areas of the world.
The problem is even though people have that option to look at whatever side they want, often humans go toward what they already know and just try to confirm what they already once thought instead of taking the time to open themselves to a whole nother side that they may not be as comfortable or familiar with.
Confirms that filter bubbles really do shape our views and ideals, and it's up to us whether we want to decide to get both sides of a story and have a better understanding of a situation or a certain debate or a certain topic.